So it's Saturday morning for me. I don't know what it is for you, but I am going to be out here in the garage living the dream here. So I got my base cabinets installed. Mike and Trevor got these things all dialed and set up. We have one cabinet being replaced because I don't know, they somehow it got messed up. They sent us a 3-drawer instead of the 5-drawer, but the cabinets here in the center are all dialed, and so I have my Koken tools, which you see behind me. But I've got the whole Koken set up, ready to go, and I'm pulling from my toolboxes some of the Wera and Hazat stuff to kind of put together my drawers for the first time. Having a fully functioning, curated set of tools is what I'm building out here, what I'm working on getting set up. So I did last night. I did the 1/4-inch drawer. I figured I'll work on the 3/8 stuff with you today. But check this out. This is so good. Look at this. Boom. I don't think things in life get much better than that. Look at that. So I outfitted all the 1/4-inch stuff, and so I have a combination of Wera, Koken, Hazat, kind of best in class of the different brands. Kind of put them all together, and then this only took up like 3/4 of the drawer. And so then I put my Koken stud kit over here on the right. Even though it's not going to get used very much, I was sort of racking my brain about what would most likely, or what I would most like to have there. And I just think it looks really good. And those tools will get used some, but I've got plenty of drawers to kind of spread everything out and work through it. So the plan here is to do Koken, Wera, Hazat. What else do we have? We got Stallvilla. I've got also Knipex to work through. And then I'll have to get into hammers, or we do Thor hammers or something like that. If you have some hammer suggestions, I know I asked that from you guys before, but if you could tell me again what you think. I need to look at hammers. I'll also have drawers for not just, like, most of this is automotive stuff, but I need drawers for regular tools around the house as well. So I'm hoping to do some Klein stuff, but anyway, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I need to work through what I already have. And so I tool gridded this out. So I had to cut this board on the right and these boards up top. So I got a nice cut. I actually left the drawer liner in. So I left the drawer liner in here for the 1/4-inch. It does make it a little bit less, kind of keeps the drawer silent, and it gives you a nice surface to put the tool grid on. But when I get to the 1/2-inch, I'll probably pull it away, or pull the liner out and go straight, because I'm going to need all the height I can get. I did test fit the height of our socket standing up in these drawers, and I think the 1/2-inch may become a problem on some of the deep well stuff. So I'm doing two things here. I've got my laptop here, and so I'm working through the master collection list that I've built, and I think the way that this is going to work, I mean, I think some people, if you have the means, and if you or you buy ProSlat cabinets, this is what you're going to want, right? You're going to want this setup, 1/4-inch setup. This is optional, but you'd have room in the drawer. These are 40-inch wide drawers. You'd have room to do this other stuff. And so we have our optional stud kit, but you want your drawer to look like this. And so my plan is to set this up where, everybody can order this, get this as an option, and then there's quite a bit of redundancy here. Like I have the surface drive type sockets. I mean, that's probably another, I don't know, a couple $100 that you don't need. You certainly want the deep well. Maybe you don't want the semi-deep stuff. I've got two different sets of, like, I have the Z series here, which these are like the really, really narrow sockets, very specialty. These are really shallow sockets, I should say. And so, you know, I've got that metric set here in the Z series. I've got a metric set in the nut grip series, which has a little ball bearing on it. And then I've got, you know, 6-point and 12-point. And same thing here. I've got, a second, what did I do here? Uh-oh, I gotta change that. Crap. Let's move these down. How did I mess that up last night? I gotta take this one out and remove this. So what I'm gonna do after I get this all set up and lived with, then I'll make a more practical set of tools where we cut out redundancies. You know, I cut out stuff that you just don't need. Chase is loving life out here, hanging out in the garage with me so he can watch all the people. Yeah, we never had this before. We had a bunch of people around. They're having a birthday party across the street. I haven't decided, so we also have labels. I'm here somewhere. So I might put the labels on. I mean, this is going to be quite a bit more permanent setup than what I have traditionally had. So what I do is you put the screw in, and then I just take a flathead and kind of go in and push the right side of it down, because that has a tendency to pull up just slightly. There we go, that's better. So again, I don't know that we need all this redundancy here, so we have quite a extra stuff. I know we don't need it. Maybe you don't do as many extensions. And so from here, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna build out, you know, as I'm sort of tinkering around the garage, I'm gonna build out a kit that we're actually gonna carry, which will be much, much simpler than all of this extra, right? We'll make a nice, simple set of tools, but we're gonna paint this picture on the OG website, give you the option to buy this. I'm not going to stock it because it'll be impossible to keep this all in stock. And so what we'll do is then when you're ready to buy it, most of you will be doing garage design orders with this anyway, then we'll special order all this stuff and give you and send you the full kit. And then send you a picture, you know, here's what your drawer should look like. And if you had a sonic drawer, it'd be very similar. You just have to make a few adjustments. If I give you, I find that even my baseline of my Lista cabinet, which took a long time to kind of set it up as efficiently as possible, even using my Lista original setup as an example, like all of this, I was able to set it up pretty quickly. So I feel like if I get you, again, 90% of the way there, you can take it the rest of the way home. This drawer here is hundreds and hundreds of hours of figuring out what tools do I want, what combination do I want. I got to put another couple of dozen hours in to figure out what do you actually have to have versus what, you know, I want it all, but, you know, what do I have to have in order to have a decent set of tools? And then what ToolGrid parts and pieces do I need, so I can send you a package of, you have enough of all these parts and pieces, so that way you don't have to buy so much extra. We can kind of save you a ton of cost of trial and error. Okay, so 3/8, we're going to work on the same thing here. And so I'm going to go cross-reference why is this one a little bit different shape? So these are actually the OG boards. So I have my own version of ToolGrid made. So there's a little hex there. Instead of saying ToolGrid across the front, it's a lot cleaner, a lot simpler. I think we do it in gray and black. We can get any color you want. But the ToolGrid boards come 6x6. And then what I did, you don't have to have this, you can just cut it with a circular saw. But I have my Swiss Trax floor tile cutter right here. Right, so I use the floor tile cutter to cut the boards to fit. And then they kind of piece together. Maybe we'll do a drawer together later. I already knocked out several of these drawers. But you have these little tabs, kind of locks in place, kind of like Swiss Trax. And then you have a little T20 screw, and the T20 screw will screw in here like so. And so these will screw into place to lock everything down. But before we lock everything down, we want to kind of modularly set this thing up and get everything put in place. So we have all the ratchets. So I think actually what I started with, or what I like to start with, I'm going to do on the left side here, just like I did in this drawer, start with the specialty parts, the specialty type of extensions and universals and stuff like that. And so the other thing I'm doing, I'm also inventorying this at the same time as I'm going through and putting this whole thing together. So let's get our specialties. Boom. So I'm also going to have to, with Koken, I'm going to have to make sure that they, build out, if we do a full collection, there's a lot of individual parts and pieces. So of the 1/4 inch set, I had, I think, three or four pieces that were missing and 2 pieces that were kind of miscategorized. So, I mean, I think this is a lot of fun, and I think most of you that buy this are going to really enjoy this process as well. And so you're going to have to work for it. Again, like I said, I'm going to get you 90% of the way there. You're still going to have to work to sort of bring it home, if you will. So these are the tooltip holders. These used to only be available in blue and red. And so I had them custom make our own Obsessed Garage version, a little Obsessed Garage logo on there, in all gray. Only disadvantage is you won't be able to easily see which one is SAE and which one is metric. And so that's why, putting the labels on might make sense in the future. And I am maximizing every square inch of this drawer. So I call these accessories. Those two. And so what I did was put together a combination of Z series. So Z series is almost always better. So I'm always going to do Z series if I can. And then sprinkle in with the regular series as well. There's that. There's our universals. So I got this universal joint from the regular. This is a 3770. And then this is a 3755. So I'm telling you, the value of putting hands on all this stuff, putting this stuff together. If you're just piecing together a tiny little set of tools, I don't think it's all that difficult. When we get into these big sets of putting together complete sets, it gets really complicated. All right, 3344, and what I'm doing is just going and highlight that, 3755. So again, over in the list box over there, I've got the full set of tools. So again, I'm not going to screw any of these down. We'll do that later after we finish, because we may need to move around a bunch to get this set up the way we want. Boom, boom, boom. And I skip the A space just to delineate. Put this here. Let's see if this works. That there. And then this guy. So this is a ratcheting head that you can put on a breaker bar, which is pretty cool. I think I'm okay with a little reaching there. All right, so let me go take a look at what all my... All right, so next we're gonna do all of our ratchets. So I'm only missing that one adapter, which I pulled from. So I chose the push button style for my preference. These are really cool because these are 72 teeth, but this is a 3/8 inch anvil on a 1/4 inch body and head. A swivel head, pivoting head. Same thing. So these are the 1/4 inch head on a 3/8 body. They do have more of these, but I narrowed it down. Again, I narrowed it down to the ones that I thought I would want in my set. I ordered them all, sold off my extras. Here's a long reach 3/8 anvil on a 1/4 inch head, and then this should be the pivoting, I believe. So these are all, almost all of these are Z series. There's your traditional size. Traditional size with an articulating head or a flexible head. And that, I like this one a lot. I use this one a lot. Okay, so now we need tool tip holders. That's what these guys are. Or ratchet head tip holders. And then let's see what works here. So up here, I went from small to larger. I also have these two as well. So I've got the Zyklop from Lyra, which Koken doesn't make anything like that. And then I've got this guy here too, which I think is pretty cool. All right, so let's inventory these first. So I'm leaving that unhighlighted so I can go back to them and say, did you not send it to me? Did I pay for it and you forgot to send it to me? What's the story? I'm also missing the 2 breaker bars. Long handle breaker bar. And this guy. I did a 250 and a 400. Z series with these awesome grips. Start with the little guys on the edge here. Kind of see how this fits together. So when you're putting these together, we're doing a lot of trial and error here. So I need the tool handle holder or screwdriver tip holder or whatever they call it, tool tip holder. There's some kid over there losing her mind. They're pretty similar in length. Just see how this feels. We can make adjustments afterward. So I'm probably going to have to use some of the next drawer for some of this 3/8 stuff. That's why I'm wondering if I shouldn't have put all the stuff on the right side of that drawer. Those two. Feels pretty good. I wonder if I should take this guy and turn it sideways and tuck it up underneath here. I will have some specialty stuff I can put back here. I like that. Tucked a lot of stuff in there. Okay, let's work on our extensions now. Those 3760Z, so 75, 125, 250. 75, 125, 250. Those. These are awesome, the locking one, LZs. So 75, this is the locking version, 3760, 75, 125, 250. All those. This is a 3322 AZ. Okay, so let's put these in. Oh, that's a 3760 500. I don't want the 500. 400. 300. What I'm doing is staggering the offset so that way they'll kind of tuck inside of each other. 300. extension, these guys. So these are the Z series, but they only make Z series in a few sizes. So I kind of sprinkle in the Z series in between here. Oh, I did have a 300. Oops. Okay, here we go. So that's all the 3/8. I was actually able to fit everything except for the taller hex type bits. It looks pretty sweet. So all these bits, I'm actually going to put all these with the taller 1/2" stuff into the bottom drawer. So this will actually work out okay. So I didn't need to use the drawer above. So now what I need to do is screw in all the screws, and I'll kind of break this up in sections because it gets really monotonous. So this is what I'm using. Most of these I'll have to take out and then put back in. Yeah, this is a big project here. Figure if I do one drawer at a time, I'll enjoy the process. So what we'll do is we'll take this guy, set it right here like this. I'm telling you, this is where I'm able to provide you value. This is not easy to do. Just hands-on all these tools over and over and over again. You really get to know what's what you're missing, what you have excess of, and then I can share that. So what I'll do is take this screwdriver, I just push the other side down so everything's nice and flush. So I'm gonna go through and do all that for hours. All right, I'm back. So I worked for, all day yesterday. So this takes time, takes a lot of time to do. So let me show you, update where I'm at. I'm gonna cut the bottom drawer. Unfortunately, the drawers are just a little too short to stand up the 1/2" deep well stuff. Also, we can't stand up like these, taller hex and triple square and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you the drawers. I'm going to cut a drawer with you. I mean, it just got tedious, so I turned the camera off for a little while. So let me just show you where we're at. So 1/4" drawer I changed up a bit. So I actually added these. These were like for suspension, so you can put a wrench, and I think these will come in handy at some point. So I tightened this area up and fit some more stuff. I moved these around. Everything in all the drawers right now are all locked down. So I screwed in each individual piece. So 1/4" drive, and then specialty. And then this is our 3/8 drive. So I was able to fit pretty much all the 3/8 stuff in this one drawer, with the exception of a few of these that will need to go in the taller drawer. So those are 3/8. And so I was able to fit everything shallow, and I think this looks absolutely fantastic. Looks so good. Now if something changed, one thing you could consider doing is if you added a tool or subtracted a tool or something like that, you may want to leave some flex room. I like to make it nice and tight, use all usable space, and make it as tight and neatly organized as possible. And then 1/2". So 1/2", all the parts and pieces take up quite a bit more space, right? So we have more space because our ratchets are much, much bigger. And so Koken only makes one ratchet, and so I have a bunch of Wera, and the 80 tooth has that stuff, which is pretty nice. Maybe at the end of the video I'll kind of go through, maybe we'll make a separate video here going in the future of all the details of this, and I'll talk through all the tools and why. So that's the 3/8 drawer. And then notice I can only get some of the most used metric stuff. And then down here is where I started to put the remaining 1/2-inch stuff. And now I'll have flex room for this drawer. I'm not sure what else I'll put in here, but I can't fit any of the tall stuff. So now let me cut the tool grid for you on this bottom drawer. Kind of stinks. I'm going to talk to ProSlat about adjusting their drawer sizes. I mean, this drawer is too big. It wastes too much space. It has this big giant front, and it looks good, you know, from a visual perspective, but from a function perspective, I would rather have, and they don't give you an option. You can either do like this cabinet over here that they made a mistake on. I'm waiting on the replacement cabinet, where you do 2 big drawers and 1 small, or you do the traditional 5-drawer design. I think it needs to be, yeah, I mean, I would take the bottom 2 drawers, so this drawer, and split it into 3. If we did that, if I had a 1, 2, 3, 4, so turn that into 2, but made this bottom drawer a little taller for my 1/2-inch stuff. So if I turned it into a, what would that be? Add 2 more drawers, so it's from a 5-drawer to a 6-drawer. So yeah, it would be a 6-drawer, but make these bottom 3 drawers equidistant. That would be a good cabinet to have. And maybe I can look at converting these somehow, because it does have the spot for the drawer glide. So I'm going to talk to the team there and ask them about that. I do need to debadge this as well. Okay, so let's cut this drawer. On this drawer, I'm going to leave the ProSlat underneath, and of course we're going to use the boards. And I've already got all the dimensions worked out, so I can do this pretty quickly. You only have to make 2 different cuts. And so of course these are the boards, right? And what I'm gonna do, I've got some extra pieces left over. I'm not gonna use that on this cabinet. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's utilize these while we're at it. Actually, for you, I'll use those on one of the other drawers I'm going to do in the future here. Okay, so first let's lay out. So what I'll do on this combination, first thing I need to do is I need to set up these, and it's, I think it's, how many wide is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide. And so let me just get this correct. So keeping the liner underneath it doesn't really hurt or help us. I kind of like these liners, and so I'm going to keep them in case I ever pull any of this stuff out of here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide. That's right, I don't need to cut the tabs off because I'm going to cut the tile. So if you do it just like Swiss tracks, where I can just lay it on, so I've got tab, 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 and then no tab, and I can just lay it in place and push it down. Get it to fit. So on these drawers, it's 6 3/4 is what I'll cut. On my floor tile cutter, on the top, and it's 2 1/16 on the sides. Sorry, I got that wrong. 6 3/4 on the side, 2 1/16 up top here. So they did make full-size tiles but you can never get an exact fit. I mean, it was harder to get an exact fit. Or these 6-inch, I can get an exact fit. There's no sliding around. It works extremely well. So I'm a big fan. I think it's like $100 for a box. And I think each drawer takes about $1.25 boxes. So you're, say, $125 plus all the individual parts and pieces, and I'll show you all those. Okay. So I have it set up for this dimension here. So I need to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you could do this with a saw. Because I have a floor tile cutter, it's actually quite a bit easier. Sorry, I'm doing this backwards for you. There's my piece. Just go check my fit. This big drawer is a little bit shorter, so I need to cut a tiny bit off of this. I'm glad I checked before I cut them all. These puppies are not cheap. You don't want to cut it wrong. Let's put these in place. See, I want it nice, clean, and tight, and it helps to cut them all the exact same length. So I cut them all at the same time so I get a nice straight line across. Not critical, but I think it makes a nice touch to have it really cleanly done. Okay, so push this all the way over. Check my dimension here. 2, 3, and we're golden. All right, so update. Today is, when did I start this? Friday night. So then Saturday, I started the video on Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, I've got a solid 16, 18 hours into this. And then today I did this drawer. Got this one dialed. I still have to screw it in. And then I decided to move all of the 1/2-inch stuff down to this drawer. I ran out of gray, so I need to grab another package of gray because I had some blue. And so these, remember, I had those here, and so I needed this drawer, that drawer for this. I'm working out the details of how I'm going to build this thing here. And I got my torque wrenches figured out exactly what sizes I need, so I cover all my bases. And then, you know, this drawer, of course, you saw these earlier. So we have our 1/4 inch and our specialty on the right. We have our 3/8, all of 3/8 with the exception of a few of the taller hex bits and torque bits. All of 3/8 ratchets and extensions, and then the most used, so Z series, nut grip series, regular metric, or regular 6-point metric, 12-point metric, some external torques. So I can do most things with this drawer, and then the specialty deeper well stuff all down here, including, you know, SAE deep well. So SAE regular and SAE deep well stuff in here, and metric deep stuff. So then screwdrivers here. So I got all my flat straight blades here. That looks pretty sweet. And I'm working on doing the Phillips stuff here. So, and what I've been doing is every other drawer, let's see here. So every other drawer I'll use my scraps, right? Because these suckers are expensive. And so the one drawer I'll cut the back, and this drawer I'll cut the front. you know, so I can use both sides of each. And for all these drawers that I'm doing, that saves me quite a bit of money. So I still have to do all the Stahlvella wrenches, I have to do all the Knipex stuff, I'd have to do like Milwaukee and some other, you know, regular utility drawers. So I probably have 6 or 8 more drawers. So I'm probably maybe halfway through. I'll keep you posted as I work through this. But ToolGrid, we are the only ones that sell all gray. And then of course these have a little hex on it, which look a little better, I think. But you're gonna wanna get all this stuff from the store because it's freaking awesome. I'm going to eventually, if you're interested, you know, I'll sell you the whole, this, if you want this exact setup. I'm gonna count up all these pieces and we're gonna build a darn ProSlat drawer. That's the plan. And so if you don't have a ProSlat drawer, but you have something similar, I mean, it's gonna be the same amount of pieces. You just may need an extra couple of boards and you may need to split this up into multiple drawers, but the concept will be the same. So what I plan on doing is, I mean, what you guys, I guess you guys could do is just take a darn screenshot and just try to set it up as close as you can the way that I designed it. We also, that's what I basically did, because I'd set it up from scratch in the Lista and the Rousseau toolboxes, and then I was able to do this in half the time because I was able to use that as a reference points, things that I liked what I did, things that I didn't like that I did, and so I was able to go and put this all together. And you can see there's very little wasted space, super efficient. Much more efficient than foam, certainly. I mean, to get this entire, I mean, this drawer here is probably, you know, $10,000 worth of tools in one drawer, all organized to the T. Anything I'm gonna need to do with 3/8 is in this one drawer. And I've got some, you know, redundancy here as well. So stay tuned for more. My plan is to build these tool sets out for you so you have an option to buy it if you want. And then I'll make some essentials kits from this where, you know, maybe I won't do Z-series nut grip, 6-point, 12-point, you know, and surface drive and having all this. There's a lot of redundancy there that isn't necessary if you're starting out or you just don't want to spend 30, 40, 50,000 bucks on your tools. So anyway, thanks for watching. I think it's the moniker holds true here. Stay tuned for more crazy. I get this is nuts, but when it's done, it's magical. See you soon.